Hello, welcome to this very special episode of Deck Obsessed. This is Rhonda, and in this video, I am reviewing the Buffy the Vampire Slayer tarot deck, written by horror fan and comic book writer Casey Gillan, and illustrated by Carl James Mountford. Full disclosure, I have been a Buffy superfan for years, since the show originally aired. I have the DVDs for every season, a little collection of Buffy magazines and comic books, and I long ago lost count of how many times I rewatched the show. I simply love Buffy the Vampire Slayer and all the characters. So when you combine my love for Buffy with my obsession for tarot and oracle card decks, all I'm gonna say is I will try not to geek out too much. So, if you're wondering how this highly anticipated deck turned out, I will be showing you every card in the deck so you can see if you resonate with the style of art, the creative choices, and the messages. I'll also give you a basic overview of the guidebook and read several sample in-depth card descriptions, a few more than I typically read in my other reviews just for my fellow Slayerettes, so you can really get a feel for how the cards connect with the TV show on a deeper level. Let's take a look at the packaging. The cards come in this sturdy box. It's beautiful with glossy embossed art. I'm going to move it around so you can see the shine a little bit. And it's embossed on both the top and the bottom, if you can see that. And show the sides. The inside of the box is built to protectively hold the differently sized cards and guidebooks. So the guidebook and the cards are not the same size. The guidebook sits atop the fitted compartment that holds the cards, which includes a red lifting ribbon to pull the cards out. Sometimes with other decks, you see boxes where the cards are smaller than the book, but there's nothing holding the cards in place, so they end up rattling around in the box, which is why I love this fitted compartment, which is made of a lightweight cardboard with nice designs of the suits. The cards are 2 3/4 by 4 3/4 inches, and the slightly larger guidebook is 3.5 by 5.5 inches. There are the standard 78 cards in the deck. The cards are relatively thick, they're a nice weight, and they have matte finishing. There's not much of a glare on there. The color palette in the deck is predominantly purple and lavender, and there are some shades of red and yellow accents. And the paperback guidebook is full color with images of each card in the deck. So that's that. So if you are into both Buffy and the tarot, I think you may be truly happy with this deck. But if you're a Buffy fan who knows nothing about the tarot, you may still find this deck is a fun collectible item that does the show justice. Each of the 22 major arcana cards shows you a primary character from the show, and I think the characters and the moments depicted are very well chosen and matched to the traditional card meanings. Thankfully, the author of this deck knows the show inside out and did their homework. Another thing I'm pleased with is that the minor arcana cards, or the pip cards, the other 56 cards in the deck, also depict recognizable characters, scenes, and moments from the show. Whereas some other decks that depict TV shows and movies, they'll simply show you a basic picture. Say it's the 3 of Cups card. They'll just have a picture of 3 cups and nothing related to the show. Or the 4 of Wands card might just have an image of 4 wands rather than something meaningful or recognizable from whatever movie or TV show the deck is based on. But in this deck, you will see plenty from the Scoobies, but also beloved characters like Kendra the Vampire Slayer, Jenny Calendar, Harmony, who may not be as lovable, but Principal Wood and potential slayers, plus evildoers like Ethan Rayne and demons like Halfrek. Memorable moments from Buffy the Vampire Slayer are portrayed on these minor arcana cards, including the court cards, and some may even give you chills. So let's have a look at each card. This is what the backs of the cards look like. And now, even though the names of the characters are not listed on the cards, I'm going to tell you which characters are depicted as I go through the cards, but mostly for the major arcana cards. I'm not going to name every character on the minors, but that's something you can do. And you probably, if you're a fan of the show, you'll probably recognize them yourself. But if you don't recognize certain characters, if you decide to buy this deck, the guidebook does provide the who in most cases. Some cases they may not mention. So also, before we start, if at any point you know you just have to have this deck, follow the link in the description box to purchase it. So here we go. This is the Fool, and of course that is Xander. The Magician, Willow. The High Priestess is Tara. The Empress, Drusilla. The Emperor is Buffy. The Hierophant is, of course, Giles. The Lovers, Willow and Tara, in the Once More with Feeling episode. While I think I'm Under Your Spell, that song is going right there. The Chariot is Cordelia. Strength is Dawn. The Hermit is Oz. The Wheel of Fortune is the original Slayer, or the first Slayer, Sanaya. Justice is Angel. The Hanged Man is Spike. Death is the Gentleman from Hush, one of the best episodes. Temperance is Joyce Summers, Buffy's mom. And you know what episode that is. You see her mask right there. Caused all that trouble. The Devil here is Willow. Season 6 Willow. The Tower is that big tower the minions built for Glory in Season 5. The Star is Kendra, the Vampire Slayer. With Mr. Pointy, of course. The Moon is Faith. The Sun depicts one of the final scenes of the show where Spike is wearing the amulet. The amulet is really what the card is, but it's that final scene where Buffy and Spike are together and Spike saves the world. Sorry if that's a big spoiler for anyone who hasn't watched the show. Judgment is Anya in the magic shop protecting all the money, probably. The World is Buffy winning the Umbrella or the Class Protector Award. And now we are getting into the court cards or the minor arcana. We're starting with the court cards for every suit. So we're in the stakes, which is again the equivalent of the swords. And again, you might recognize this is season, the last season, Xander, but I'm not going to go through with every, naming every character. So King of Stakes, Queen of Stakes, It's one of the potential slayers. What was her name? Kennedy, yeah. Knight of Stakes. Page of Stakes. Ace of Stakes. Two. I'm not going to go ahead and say the numbers. I'll just go through these and let you look. But we're still in the stakes suit, and we're going to go 2 through 10. Poor Giles when Ethan changed him into the demon. Was it a feral demon? I forgot the name of it. Buffy confronting the first. Potential slayers. There's Spike getting his soul back on the 9 of Stakes, or 9 of Swords. And then there's the 10 of Swords, the last card in that suit. And now we are in the Chalices suit, which is Cups, which has to do with emotion. So we have Giles as the King of Chalices. Halfrek as the Queen of Chalices. William the Bloody, William before he was turned into Spike in the Knight of Chalices. Clem is the Page of Chalices at that kitten card game. Ace of Chalices. The Ace is the 1 card, by the way. Here we have Buffy and Faith. 3 of Chalices. The 3 Scoobies, the original gang, Buffy, Willow, and Xander. Now this is Principal Snyder, the 4 of Chalices. This is such a well-matched card. This is excellent. The book, I don't think the guidebook tells you that this is Principal Snyder, so I thought I would make sure I mentioned that. There's Buffy when she ran away and became a waitress. It's Giles and Joyce in the Band Candy episode for 6 of Chalices. This is also a really great, well-matched card. This card is about the past and looking back. So this episode when all the adults reverted to their teenage years because of the candy they'd been eating, this was great. This is the Halloween episode where everyone turned into their costumes. 7 of Chalices. That's the demon from Once More with Feeling, who had everybody singing and dancing. 10 of Chalices. And now that was the last of the Chalices suit, and now we are in the Scythes suit, which is Swords. And I think I mistakenly said that the first suit that we looked at was Swords, but the Stakes, that's Wands. So this is the Mayor, King of Scythes, at the graduation giving the speech. Queen of Scythes is Jenny Calendar. Glory is the Knight of Scythes. Page of Scythes is Amy, and it's cool how they have her next to the trophy and they've got the cheerleading reference there so you can clearly see that that's Amy. Did a great job making sure that you could tell who that was. And Ace of Scythes, there's Ben. Oh, this was a terrible episode when Buffy lost her mom, and this is the perfect storyline, the perfect plot line for this card, which is about just a broken heart. As you can see with the 3 swords going into the heart, if you don't know what that card means. 4 of Scythes. Buffy and her mom. There's Oz turning into a werewolf. There's 6 of Scythes. I believe that's supposed to be Ethan Rain. Not sure. 7 of Scythes. Eight of Scythes. It's Professor Walsh. 9 of Scythes. That was that dreaming episode when Buffy dreamt she was a vampire slayer, when the dreams all came true. 10 of Scythes, when Buffy had to kill Angel. Now we're in the Pentacles suit. And of course, this is Principal Wood, King of Pentacles. And that's his mom, who was the Slayer where Spike stole her jacket, Queen of Pentacles. Knight of Pentacles is Riley. Page of Pentacles, the potential Slayer. I can't believe I forgot her name. Somebody help me. Page of Pentacles, what is her name? Ace of Pentacles. We've got Buffy working at the Double Meat Palace for the 2 of Pentacles. There's those 3 troublemakers who thought they were going to take over the world in season 6. For 3 of Pentacles. The Magic Box. 2 of Glory's minions are 5 of Pentacles. Also perfect characterization of that card. Six of Pentacles, Demon Anya. 7 of Pentacles, the demon, I forgot his name, who's in charge of all the vengeance demons, Anya's boss, if you will, who tried to recruit Willow when she got really upset, or when she started to show her power. Eight of Pentacles. Nine of Pentacles. And 10 of Pentacles. There's Dracula from the first episode of season 5. Okay, so that's all the cards in the deck. And we're now going to take a look at the guidebook, get much closer to dig in and see what you're going to get from the guidebook. So to start, the table of contents is very well organized with each major arcana card and page number clearly listed, rather than listing each minor arcana card. While you find all of the major arcana cards, rather than listing each minor, you find the first page of each suit, so you can navigate to that section and then look up your card from there. So that's the table of contents. And we start with a section called Meeting Your Chosen One, which welcomes you to Sunnydale in the world of Buffy. And then it goes on to explain how to build a relationship with your card deck by cleansing it and by starting a tarot diary to record your impressions when using the deck. And next there are sections that explain all sorts of things regarding the tarot, like if you're curious and a beginner or don't really understand the tarot that much, it explains major versus minor arcana cards, which is very helpful if you're new, of course. And by the way, major arcana cards simply carry more weight and have greater significance if they show up in a reading. And those were the first 22 cards that you saw. And after that, there's a section that explains the 4 suits, which consists of stakes instead of wands. And like in the beginning, I think I made a mistake again referring to the stakes as swords, but those are wands in the traditional tarot. Chalices, which you often see in the traditional tarot decks as cups, but they're often also considered chalices or called chalices. Scythes instead of the traditional swords. And then pentacles, you see those in most decks. Sometimes they're also referred to as coins or discs, but often pentacles. And since pentacles is so relevant to the show, they went with that. So now we move into the card meanings sections. So even if you don't recognize the character on a particular card, the guidebook tells you in most cases who is being depicted on the cards. But the guidebook doesn't exactly or necessarily elaborate on the scene or the episode being depicted. So you might depend on your own knowledge of the show to figure out which scenes are referenced, or rewatch the show to brush up on your Buffy knowledge. Might be kind of fun to watch the show after you get the deck if you're not super well versed in Buffy, and just to say, oh, I recognize that scene, that's from card number, coins or pentacles 8 or whatever, 8 of pentacles, etc. So when I was going through the different cards and saying, oh, that was from episode whatever, that's just my own knowledge and the geeky part that I was going to try to keep at bay. That's just me. Not all of those things are referenced in the book. So you bring your own knowledge to the deck, which is what makes it fun. So I'm going to go back to the card meanings sections later, but at the end of the guidebook, after the card meanings, there is a section on preparing to read the tarot, which talks about how to ask questions and how to pick a spread that will best help you address your question. And next you'll find several card spreads which have names that relate to the show, like the Prophecy Girl spread, or the 5x5 spread, or A World Without Shrimp. And in case you don't know what I mean by spread, a spread is simply a layout of cards with a specific purpose. For instance, a spread might entail drawing 3 cards after shuffling, and I did not shuffle, but drawing 3 cards, and the position of the cards in the layout has a specific meaning. So the first card, well, just as an example, the most typical spread I know of is the past, present, future spread, where the first card represents the past, the second represents the present, and the third represents your future, all related to whatever question you may ask. And it's about the energy of the present, the energy of the past, the energy of the future, etc. So, of course, I didn't shuffle the deck. And by the way, I tend not to shuffle a lot of my decks that I want to keep nice, because that always has wear and tear. I have the deck that I use the most often with my clients is so beat up. So I had to buy a new one, but I decided to go ahead and just not shuffle card decks that I wanted to keep nice. And there's so many ways you can fan all the cards out and simply choose them, or you can just gently mix the cards up. There's so many different ways to protect your decks. But, and that's one of the reasons I don't talk about whether the cards shuffle well or not when I do my reviews, because everyone's hands are different, everyone's abilities to shuffle are different, and not everybody shuffles cards. So, and everybody's got a different opinion about that. So anyway, we're going to look deeper into some of these card meanings. So first we're going to look at the Sun card, which is the amulet on page 51. And I'm going to read what it says. So I'm not, here's a reminder of what the card looks like. And for the major arcana, notice that they have a full page with the illustration of the card, but for the minors, there's a very small image of the card. And the minor arcana cards, they get one page, as well as, and the major arcanas also get one page of explanation. So let's look closely at the sun card, which is the amulet. I'm going to do 4 samples. I usually do 1 or 2 for most decks, but this one I just wanted to show people how well the book relates to the show. So the sun, the amulet. Nothing bad can survive in the light of day, not even a hellmouth. And I also want to note that the major arcana cards all have an upright and a reversed meaning. And as I always mention in these, when you shuffle your deck, sometimes some cards end up upside down, some end up staying right side up. And forgive me for explaining if you already know, but there might be some people who aren't familiar with the tarot and don't know what a reversed or upright meaning refers to. But I'm just going to explain quickly that when your cards fall upright in a reading after you shuffle like that, there's the upright meaning, which is the standard meaning of the card. But a card that falls upside down might have a different meaning. So that's what the reverse meaning is. If a card falls upside down, it has a different message. However, some readers do not recognize reverse cards because they might feel that there are enough cards in the deck to give me enough of the meaning, and the combinations of cards together give me enough meaning where I don't need to recognize the reversals. So for those that do, there are upright and reversed explanations or interpretations in the guidebook. And personally, I don't tend to use upside down cards because of the way I intuitively read and the way I combine my cards to tell a story. But here we go. The upright meaning is: filled with the power of purification and cleansing, the amulet sent scourges of demons back to hell, making way for a brighter day. If the amulet turns up in your reading, it's a sign that things are looking up. You finally can be fully present in the world without looking over your shoulder, waiting for the other fang to drop. This card ushers in a time of peace, positivity, and an apocalypse expertly halted. The reverse meaning says, even if the clouds block its light, the sun is always present. You just need to work a little harder to see it. When reversed, you may be experiencing a temporary disconnect from what brings you joy, but it's as fleeting as a passing storm. I like that. So next we're going to look at chalices on page 78. 3 of chalices, that is. And that's the really nice card, if you remember, with this card's about celebration. You have Willow, Buffy, and Xander celebrating and dancing, holding up their chalices. The upright meaning is: friends who slay together stay together, and this is an opportunity to celebrate the people in your life. When you are influenced by the 3 of chalices, you might feel inspired to plan a slumber party, host the next coven meeting, or gather your crew at the Bronze for some festive frolicking. Get with the fun having. So I love that they use kind of the dialogue from the show, that get with the fun having is sounds like the way the characters talk. The Bronze was where everybody hung out. They did have these kids had a slumber party, and of course, Willow being a witch, she had coven meetings, or at least she tried to. That's how she met Tara. So the reversed meaning, and actually that wasn't a coven, that was kind of like a Wicca group that talked about bake sales. So yeah, Willow didn't belong to a coven. But anyway, reversed. The reversed meaning of 3 of chalices. Think of the reversed 3 of chalices as Halloween in Sunnydale. The monsters and demons take the night off, kick back in their cozy crypts, and leave the carnage for another day. Take some inspiration from them and give in to that persuasive feeling begging you to stay home and watch Passions. So look at that. I mean, there's so many references to the show while still staying true to the tarot. I love how the lore on Buffy has that all the demons and vampires, they chill out on Halloween. They don't come out and wreak havoc on Halloween. And then, of course, Passions is the show that Spike always loved to watch. So, next, the third card we're going to look at is the Queen of Scythes on page 87. And of course, this is the beloved Jenny calendar. Queen of Scythes, the upright meaning, an expert in lost languages, impressive impressive techno-pagan, occult maven. There is nothing Jenny Calendar's mind can't accomplish. She embodies the Queen of Scythes with her wit and presence of mind. In your reading, she advocates for logic over emotions, relying on what you see instead of how you feel. She reminds you to set clear and unshakable boundaries, enforcing how you want others to treat you and how you treat yourself. The reversed meaning: has a sexy fuddy-duddy got your motherboard overheating? Or maybe friendships with your students are distracting you from your ancestral legacy. Whatever the case, when this queen is reversed, you are allowing your emotions to outweigh your responsibilities. Wow, very related to the show. Love it. Now let's look at one of my favorite villains, Knight of Scythes on page 88. Of course, that is Glory from season 5. So the upright meaning, let's be honest, this world isn't fabulous enough for Glory. Her appearance is a sign that you are relentless in the pursuit of your dreams, not allowing anything to get in your way. Quick on her feet and quicker with her quips, Glory used her intelligence to solve most of her problems. Channel her approach by being direct and speaking your mind, but maybe don't try to destroy the world. The reversed meaning, frustrated, easily bored, and restless. The reversed Knight of Scythes represents being disconnected from your agenda. You are brimming with energy that you feel unable to release, leaving you bouncing from task to task without any sense of accomplishment. Get your minions to deal with the details while you think up a new grand scheme. All right. So that is it. I truly hope you enjoyed my review of the Buffy the Vampire Slayer tarot card deck. And remember, if you'd like to add this deck to your collection so you can keep exploring all the card meanings and the cool references to the show in the guidebook, click the link in the description box where you can purchase it. I'll also be adding some links to other decks based on films and TV shows by the author Casey Gillan. And if you like this review, please leave a comment, hit the like, subscribe, and notification buttons, and please do check out my other videos. Thank you so much for watching this very special episode of Deck Obsessed. This is Rhonda wishing you a beautiful day. See you next time.